navigate the waters of, hey, they've gone through some hard times, they've gone through some hardships, and now how do we figure out how to manage this so we don't end up having to go back to work in 10 years, you know? Finally got retired, and how do we actually do this? How do we move forward? And that's what we're going to show you right now. So I'm super excited to bring this to you.
We are live on the Wise Guys and Ties YouTube channel now. So for those who are joining us in on the YouTube channel, hello and welcome. We're going to jump into our case study, right? Let me make sure that people can see my screen.
Oh, no,
I don't mean to do that. The buttons move around on me. I want you to know that. Like, they don't stay in the same spot. Okay, so we're going to be working on our case study, folks. This is a credit banking case study. Very excited to share this with you today. So let us, here we are.
Hey, there we go.
Is this number 30? No, we're not on 36. Hold on, we are on number 25.
No, 24?
24. There we go. This is the one we wanted to share.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, look at that. Some exciting stuff. Okay, I need to blow that up so that's a little bit bigger on your screen. Otherwise you can't. Whoa, that might be a little too big. All right, let's go back here.
Let's make sure everybody can see us and hear us. All right, guys.
Okay, so each and every week when we do on these Tuesday nights, we do these case studies because we want to show people how to implement the credit banking strategy. But again, we can talk about how to do it in theory and work with generic numbers, or we can just go that extra mile and we share with you numbers from actual clients that we've worked with. Now, whenever we share numbers for clients, we don't ever share personal information, who they are, where they are, what their accounts are, nothing like that. But we go over the situation because it's important that if you're going to learn and implement this debt reduction strategy, that you work with actual numbers. So that's what we're going to work with here. So let's take a look. Right off the bat, we're seeing that the income is $3,600 and expenses are $3,690. So right off the bat, I'm noticing a problem here with the cash flow. You guys see that? We've got a negative $90 in cash flow. This is supposed to be in the green.
Yeah, Raul, exactly. Yeah, $90 negative there.
That's right. Now, we're going to come back to that, but we look at there's $15,000 in available credit and carrying a $2,248 balance. So we then have to start looking at what is the credit utilization? How much of the credit is being utilized? Right, so how do we figure that out? Well, we divide our balance by our limit. And that tells us what, so we're at 15% utilization, rounding. Right, oh, not money, but 15% utilization. We like to see, oh, hold on.
What case study are we on? We're on case study 24?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 14.9. I rounded up, Raul. Good job. I like it that you're so exact. Okay, so we're at 15% utilization. And we got to keep, oh, no, I didn't want to highlight it. No, come on now. How do you unhighlight it? There, no.
Nope, well. You got to highlight. You got to highlight to unhighlight.
You got to highlight to unhighlight. Crazy. Oh, you got to highlight to change that. Okay, there we go. Well, that wasn't difficult at all. All right, so we're at 15% utilization. Okay, we didn't quite get an interest rate, but they could all be different here. So here's the situation. Let's break this down. This is somebody in their 60s that had a great six-figure income, a job that they recently lost. They were forced into retirement. And then when you have on top of that hard economic times like the whole COVID-19 thing come down, now you've got somebody living on a fixed income that has variable expenses. See, if you live on a fixed income, it would be great if you had fixed expenses.
Right? It would be,
but that's not the case here. So we're looking at a house that they live in that's worth $400,000, but the loan amount that they currently have is $272,566.63. So 30-year term, they're 216. They're on payment number 216 out of 360 payments, right, at 3.125% interest, with the payment being $2,068. So they went through a loan modification. They've recently deferred some payments. They have, so you can see here, there's interest. They have outstanding balance, maturity date. So it's as you can see right here with their situation, trying to work with the banks, getting some help, and obviously complicating the situation a bit. But income, $2,000 from Social Security. A spouse contributes $1,600. That's how we get to the 36. And then we have our expenses: the mortgage, the auto loan, gas and electric, food, cable, garage, daily news, radio, credit cards, etc. Then we have some assets. So when you reach your 60s, hopefully you have some assets. But we have over 48,000 in mutual funds. We have an E-Trade account over 6,000, and we have a 401k that has over $116,000 in it. And then we have the liabilities, the car. I would have just put car here. Car still has 4 years left on the auto loan. Interest rate's 10%. Total credit card debt $2,248. Has 7 open credit cards. And all right, so also this was expanded upon up here. So this 3 months deferment, April, May, and June, is more thoroughly explained up here. All right. So now that we kind of gone over everything that's here with the income, the expenses, and the situation, we have to do something. Remember, to credit banking requirements. Now, we had just discussed this, right? You need debt. You need positive monthly cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
And you need line of credit / credit card. Right? Now, if we take that and let's give ourselves some check boxes here so we can take a look. First of all, do we have debt?
Yes.
I see debt there. I see debt down here. So, yes, we have debt. Check. Do we have positive monthly cash flow? No. Wah, wah, wah. And then line of credit or credit card. So we
do have the lines of credit.
We do have lines of credit. And we have a good credit score too to work with. No, so we do have the line of credit. So right now, as it currently stands, we can't actually do credit banking, right? Because there is no positive monthly cash flow. Cash flow is the fuel that we put into the line of credit as our vehicle that we use as our debt busting machine, right? So we have to find ways to increase cash flow. So so what do? Well, we need to generate some more income or reduce expenses or both. So looking at the situation that we have here, I'm always drawn to look at where somebody's at in terms of their assets. So we've got assets here. But if you're in your 60s, you might be thinking of retirement, and so you're thinking, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to use that to pay off all my debt, because now that's going to
I mean, that's my nest egg.
exactly. Well, how can we utilize any of these assets without draining them? Right? Because that's the big concern. Because obviously nobody would come to us with their concerns. If you're sitting on this money, you think, well, yeah, just pay off some stuff and you'll be fine. Except for this is all right here. This is all you have to live off of for, I don't know, the next 25 years maybe.
I mean, you're 60, 70, 80, 90.
Yeah.
Got 25, 30 years left. You still got a whole nother life left.
So this is not something you want to drain very quickly, especially when you've been forced into retirement. And so all you've got is your 2,000. Who knows how long the spouse will contribute? 1,600 could be eventually they go on Social Security as well. So thoughts? What should we do? This is a mastermind, so it's open for discussion. That's what the intention here is, because I try to lay out what's going on here, but I really need from you to hear from you.
There you go, Raul. Use some of the assets to pay off the credit card to gain some cash flow. I like where you're going with that.
All right, so right now, what's the credit card? Where's credit card? Somewhere. Okay, credit card. Look what that's costing us right here.
$325.
Yeah, so let's identify. If we could free that up. I don't know if we could free up. People have got to have their entertainment. People have, got to have food, right? So we've got this auto loan here, right? Let's look at that, and we got this mortgage here. Right, so we're looking at $2,800 worth, maybe a little over that, of total expenses that credit banking could eliminate if we had positive monthly cash flow. But if we drain, now some people might say, well, it's not that much, right? Well, let's look at it. It is a lot. If you look at the loan amount here on the house, that's a lot. We don't have enough to take care of that. And then I don't know how much of the car. Look at that, 28,000. I mean, that's a whole lot. I mean, you can, if you're living on a fixed income with these kind of expenses of 3,690, right? You could live for a while off of 28,000. So if you take your money to eliminate that debt, you're eliminating a year's worth of living.
Yeah,
right?
that's very true.
So that's a no-go for somebody in this situation. So, I mean, we do need to use these, but let's be creative. How can we use these and not lose them? Use it, but not lose it, right? How do we use it, but not lose it? Any ideas?
Any ideas? I got a couple ideas there, but let's see. Anybody in here got some ideas?
Come on, panel. We've got a lot of folks that are sitting here. Curly, Dale, Fitz, Jen, Ivory, Mauro, Natalie, Raul, Rosa, Sabrina, Sal, Santiago. This is for you, folks. If there's really no wrong answers to anything here, but what we want to do is to really help you expand your mind. A mastermind is only as good as the people who are participating in it.
All right, so Raul says you could pay off the credit card from the E-Trade account.
Okay.
Could do that.
Could do that. Let's see. Because the credit card, how much is owed on the credit card?
2,200 and on the credit card.
Right. I'm just
2,200. What is that? Around 2,248. That's what's owed on the credit card. Or in some, I guess there's a couple different credit cards there.
I was just trying to highlight total debt amounts here. All right. So if the credit card debt was paid off that would right there free up $325 a month. And so if you're thinking, look, if you don't want to use all of your assets to eliminate all of your debt, you could just pick the smallest one. You could pick the smallest one, and then you'd be fine,
Right.
right? Because now you're only talking about 2,000. So I like where you're going with that. That is definitely an option. I would consider that as an option. Mark says, start a business, build business credit, then make loans from the business to the personal side.
Hey, I like the way Mark thinks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what you could do. That is a great idea. So let's start writing out these ideas here, because we got, this is a mastermind. So let's mastermind. So we're talking about how to use, we want to talk about how to use the assets without losing the assets, right? That's what we're talking about. So number one was what now? Use E-Trade to pay off credit card. And then we had start a business, business, and build business credit. And then you could make loans off of that.
Oh yeah.
Rosa says, threaten XM radio with canceling and get them to give you a discount temporarily. Do the same with cable TV. Both can probably lower their fees.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's what
Way to go. Rosa, you are awesome. Absolutely. So we'll call that threaten. We'll call it negotiate. Negotiate with creditors, right? Lower monthly payments. Perfect. All right, what do we got here?
So we got the auto loan.
Liability car is paid off. It's
you know
the
what?
value of the car.
Oh, you know what? So no. So the other option that we have is so the other what else do we have? Who was saying start a business, build business credit? Let me see here. How much do we owe on the car? Because there was 2 cars. Let's see here.
Anyway, here we go. So while you're thinking in silence, we got dead air, so we can't have that. So good credit scores for business line of credit. Absolutely. He could personally guarantee with these kind of credit scores, could give a personal guarantee to a business that he or she starts, and then they'd be able to get anywhere from 25,000 all the way up to 150,000, right? If we're looking at these 7 open credit cards, being able to get anywhere from 5 to 8 times the largest amount that they have on one of their lines. So
okay, as I'm looking at the email here, I got the email. The car value is 28,000. We currently owe about 17,000. But it looks like they got about 2 different cars there. 1 car.
So what else, folks? You could okay, so you could do the same with cable to reduce cable options. Yes, Rosa did cover cable and XM radio, right? Negotiate 0% balance transfers with some of those credit cards. Yes, you could do that, absolutely. And then that could lower the credit card payment. So again, there's always, we're talking about negotiate deferment. There's deferment, which he's already doing. If I could spell, that would be great. Decrement. Deferment. So we can negotiate deferment, forbearance. We could, God, why can't I spell today? We could negotiate forbearance.
Thank goodness for spell check.
Yeah, if only I had it for the dry erase board, then that'd be awesome.
It's kind of like a digital dry erase board here.
So, but we're also talking about balance transfers. Absolutely. Right? Because we either want to lessen or lower our payments. And again, I can't spell transfers. There you go. All right. You guys are awesome. Okay, so consider selling the car and getting it into something more comfortable. It's an option. Absolutely. Sell the car. What about put the car on Turo? Rent the car out, turn the car into an income stream.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah. You could sell a car or put it on Turo. Is it 2 R's or just 1 R?
Yeah, I think this person had two pretty cool cars. So
Yeah. I mean, if it's a newer car, it's a nicer car, somebody would rent that for $50 a day. Absolutely.
yeah, I think they could probably get close to $100 a day for those cars each. I think they have two different cars, right? One's paid off. One is.
What's an HBB? Another HBB that you own? What's that? Any ideas coming off of YouTube? You want to take a look at that?
Let's see what we got here. We got some ideas here.
Folks, you got a lot of great ideas. So let me tell you about a home-based business. Yes. Sorry, I'm so bad with acronyms. All right. Yeah, if you start up multiple businesses, you can get business credit on multiple businesses. You can give your personal guarantee to multiple businesses. It would be pretty awesome. But here's something I want you to consider, and not a lot of people know this, but take a look right here. We have this 401k. I want you to consider for a moment this 401k. Let's put it in its own bright, juicy red color here. Okay, look at this 401k. There's something that can be done here that not a lot of people know about. So here's what most people know about a 401k. If you withdraw money from it before you're 59 and a half years old, you're going to get penalties. Now, if you're over the age of 59 and a half, you can make draws on it, but depending on how you put it in there, you could be taxed, right? If it's a Roth, then it's already been taxed before it went in. But if it's a standard 401k, you pull the money out, then you got to be taxed on it. So you got to be careful how much you pull out, because you could get taxed on it a lot. Now, as you pull money out, it obviously decreases in value. There are people who also know that, hey, you can borrow against your 401k. You can actually pull out $50,000 a year, borrow that, and then you have to pay yourself back with interest, which is usually the prime rate plus anywhere from 0.25% to 0.75% over prime. And that is, a great option. If you didn't know about that, then you should look that up yourself, because you can do that. That can give you a lot of extra liquidity right when you need it. Just go to your HR department. They can help you with that. But there's even another option. There's another really cool option. You could borrow against the value of your 401k and not actually touch a single penny in it. Meaning, you put the whole 401k up as collateral, right? Use 401k as collateral, as a collateralized loan, right? 401k collateral loan, as I misspell stuff. Collateral loan. All right, with a collateral loan, you can get up to 100% of the value inside the 401k. The 401k, you don't touch that now anymore. You leave that in there, and then you use the loan money. So now the 401k is sitting there, and it's still investing, and it can be growing and gaining interest and all that. But you get loan money equal to the value of what's in your 401k, but you have to make monthly payments back with interest. So as you pay back that loan, right, you have you still get to have all the value of your 401k because you haven't lost it. You only lose the 401k if you fail to pay back the money because it was that you used it as collateral. But imagine being able to collateralize the entire 401k and getting a loan for $116,000 that you can consolidate a lot of debt, pay some stuff off, make a huge dent in the house, right? You could obviously pay off the cars and as well as the credit cards, and then take a huge chunk out of the house. Now consider that with that house, there's also equity in the house. So we need to also start looking at getting a potential HELOC. But the reason why I put HELOC after the collateral loan is because they're going to look at what's called your income to debt ratio. And you've got a lot of debt and a little income. So your debt to income ratio is going to be pretty high, which would take you out of contention for the HELOC. But if you can use this collateral loan, which can also count against your debt, but again, which debts are they going to count? They're going to count the car debt. They're going to count the credit card debt. But depending on how the loan on the 401k is counted, it might not show up as actual debt because it's already collateralized. You already have collateral to cover that debt. So again, all of this depends on each individual bank who might look at this differently. But you definitely can get a 401k collateral loan, right? We don't care about your credit. We don't care about your income, right? Because you're collateralizing the 401k. But if you could use that in such a way to eliminate all this debt, imagine freeing up all of the cash flow and then wiping out the loan. If you could wipe out the loan that you have on that 401k loan, then of course what you would do is then next, with all that debt gone, apply for the HELOC. Now, again, a lot of people think HELOC, they think of a second mortgage.
Right.
I'm talking about when you have more than 40% equity in your property. When you have more than 40%, when you reach that point, you can go to a regional bank, a credit union, and you can really look at their different products. And they have what's called a first position home equity line of credit, where they will pay off the mortgage that's in first position. And when they do that, then they put it, so let's say, make numbers easy, $100,000 say is the value of your home, and you only owe $60,000. Now the bank's willing to give you a $70,000 home equity line of credit, 70% loan to value. So you take the $60,000 mortgage that you had, that gets paid off, and it goes on to your new home equity line of credit. Plus, you have this little $10,000 extra to work with. So it's a great option for a lot of people who understand these pay down strategies. So here we've been working with a lot of great stuff here, looking at how to create positive monthly cash flow. So right now, without positive monthly cash flow, there isn't a whole lot that we can do. In fact, we can't do anything, because until we can check all three boxes, we got nothing, right? But here's the great thing. When you start looking at, if we can create positive cash flow, I like these are all great options that are up here on the board, folks. Let's see. Rosa said, yes, I did that to buy my home. Took out a loan on myself on my government thrift savings plan. Wow, did not know about that collateral loan. Interesting. Does it work with TSP? When you start getting into government programs, the government has a lot of special rules and regulations. So if we're talking about a standard traditional 401k, IRA, yeah, it works on all of those. When we're dealing with any type of potential government program, you've got to talk to the manager or supervisor of that account, and you got to ask, right? It doesn't hurt to ask. Also, don't just ask one time, because the first person you talk to could be completely clueless, right? And so if that's the case, then you need to ask several times. I'm going to tell you, though, that my initial thoughts are it would be no. And here's why. Because a lot of times with any type of, because I used to have a government pension myself, and I didn't quite actually own my pension, right? I didn't get to make independent choices, as there were so many different rules and regs that went with that. But if I left and I cashed out or rolled over, then I could have control. And so in this case, you do need to have control over your account. So that it, because otherwise, how would you put it up as collateral? If it's technically owned by the government and you don't actually have control, then you couldn't do the program. So that's kind of where I think my thoughts on that. But you don't know until you ask, right? Okay. So here we are looking at how would we do credit banking? Well, got to create cash.
We had some folks asking, does that 401k loan, do you have to have a business?
On the 401k loan?
Yeah.
401k collateral loan, no, that is something that, see, you can get collateral loans off of personal assets and you can get them off of business assets. So a lot of businesses create 401ks for their employees. So a business could collateralize a 401k, but so could the actual owner of the 401k. So that fits in both categories of collateral. Good question. So if we were going to free up some cash flow and we did take from one of these accounts to pay off the credit card, let's imagine we did that, because we got to do something. But there's a lot of options here. A lot of things could be done. But let's say what we're going to do is pay off the credit card debt. Well, that would then free up the $325 a month payment, then creating for us $235 in cash flow just instantly by doing that. So now we have $235 a month of cash flow. Is that good or is that good?
That's good.
That is good. So then our expenses went down by 325, right? So now we've got some wiggle room. What would we do with $235 of cash flow? Well, we could knock out. Why is the value of the card changing?
The other one is the value of the card that's paid off.
Well, this 17,000, it wasn't 17,000 a moment ago, was it? Did that number change on me? Am I going crazy?
17,000 is how much is left on the card.
Oh, okay. So Raul says, yes, I'm going crazy. Thanks. Appreciate the vote of confidence, Raul. Okay, thank you. All right. So here's how this works. So let's take our 17,000, and if we divide that by our $235 of cash flow a month, then
or payment. Wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, we have $235. So the 17,000. Or
you want to divide it by the payment?
No, we freed up $235
I see what you're saying.
Cash flow. Oh, Raul says he saw it move too. So Raul said the number that was here did change.
Magically changed. I'm messing with you, Joey.
Yeah, don't do that again in the future. All right. So, but yeah, 72. So what do we got? We got other questions. Liability, cars paid off, the value of the car. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So, so what we have here is, so what we do, how we see this works is we can take our cash flow and we begin to apply it. So we already talked, and if you were a part of the previous portion of this, so we're just doing the case study now, but earlier we were talking about how to actually do credit banking. And that's where you push your income and your expenses every month through your line of credit, and your excess cash flow is what ends up paying off your bills. So in 72 months, or a little over 72 months, you would pay off that $17,000 that's on that car. But then that would free up. But I think there's only four years left on this loan. So I'm sorry, I get confused. I had a certain way I was thinking about stuff, and when the numbers changed, I got confused. I apologize, folks, for my confusion on that.
All right, so we freed up $235 of cash flow by eliminating the credit card debt, right? And then so now we're looking at.
So we have this auto loan here where there's a $424 a month payment.
Right.
Right.
So
Okay.
now the next step would be to hack out the car because.
Right. All right. One of the things that I normally have with me is my calculator. So anyway, just want to make sure, just double check that I did it. Okay, good, perfect. Want to make sure that none of these dots were interfering with anything. So 72 months. That's not bad to have that paid off with, and then all of a sudden you can then free up an additional $424 of cash flow. So then you put in 424. Of course, that works better when you do that.
Or we probably want to, yeah.
There you go.
$659.
Perfect. All right. Of course. And so our expenses drop down to the $2,706. And now we have $659 worth of cash flow that we can now use to attack our mortgage. And so let's go ahead and take these numbers that we have here, right? So we're going to utilize our income. Here are our expenses, which determines our cash flow. And then let's put in the numbers for this house. Let me see. I think I'm sharing everything. Everybody should be able to see this.
Let's see here. Yes, we can see it.
All right, so we got 272,566.
Oh, yikes.
The battery's running low.
Battery's running low.
63. And then we'll be at interest rate of 3.125. Perfect. And then we're at, thank you, sir. We're at 200, and our term here is we've got, 216 payments left. All right. Then we don't know the interest rate. Let's just put in 21% because that's the average. And then we have our income at $3,600. And then we have our total expenses that have come down to $2,706, creating 3,006, and we're at 2,706. See, I knew I was doing something wrong there. That number didn't come up right. And I knew we had a little more cash flow than what I thought. Okay, so, alrighty. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the credit banking calculator. So here we are, living on a fixed income. Where are we at? Well, currently with the mortgage, there's 18 years still left to pay on this mortgage. And if we just make the payments, that's blue. The blue line here represents if we just continue to make the minimum payments here. The orange line, well, what if we put an extra $100 down every month? Well, you see, we pay it off a little bit sooner. So instead of paying it off in 18 years, it gets paid off in 16 years and 9 months, right? But you do save yourself over $6,000 of interest. Now, what if we do the credit banking strategy that we had talked about, right? Using the income that we have coming in, the expenses, where we freed up the cash flow. Well, what happens? Well, instead of paying this off in 18 years, it's paid off in 11 years and 1 month. And on top of that, you save yourself $26,000, over $26,000 in interest. So that is pretty awesome right here. So do nothing, and it takes 18 years. Do this credit banking method, and you can free up the cash flow. Now, we can even do it, we can, as you can see here, down the road, if we wanted to qualify for, if we eliminate the debt in such a way that our debt to income ratio on this example is better, we could get set up with a home equity line of credit. Now, with that, it's saying you could save 19,000. That's if you started today. So the credit banking method saves you a little more money. They both take the same amount of time. So why would anybody do this? Why would anybody get a home equity line of credit? Because listen, folks, if you have a mortgage, it's a loan, and once it's paid off, it's gone. And then, any value of the deductions that might go with it, or anything that you would use is gone. You'd have to apply for and get another loan to have that. But if you have a home equity line of credit attached to the home, even after you've paid it off, you still have the whole line of credit. And so that is why we would do this. So if we can still save money or save time or both, and end up with a line of credit attached to our house at 70% loan to value, or maybe 80% loan to value, why wouldn't we do that? Because then when we're done, we now have money with which that we can use to lessen our expenses through our line of credit. We can move money and save money. So this is really exciting when you start looking at all the different ways that we can utilize credit banking. And imagine this was something that when we started, we had negative cash flow, folks, and we're on a fixed income, right? We're talking about Social Security. And there's people who feel like, well, it's too late for me. No, it's not. This is definitely an option that works. And again, we just did an option where we took a little bit of money out of the E-Trade account and paid this off. I mean, imagine accelerating this to the point where let's eliminate all of this debt right off the bat. Let's free up that cash flow. Let's consolidate some of the home. Imagine if we made a huge chunk payment down here on the house, and then used credit banking to wipe out the debt here on this loan. This could be done in a shorter period of time than paying off the loan. I would say, just looking at the amounts here you're trying to pay off 272,000, and down here you're trying to pay off 116,000. So you're getting done in half the time. So this route of borrowing against the 401k to pay these two loans off and take a huge chunk out of the house, you can pay that loan off on the 401k in 6 years?
That's phenomenal.
6 years, and then you can get the home equity line of credit. I mean, and once you borrowed against this once, could you borrow against it again?
Oh, yeah.
And by then, what if this goes up? What if the market comes back?
Oh, yeah, then you can do that again.
Imagine not having to draw against this because you're borrowing against it.
I like that idea.
Then the nest egg never gets depleted.
That's true.
Right? So there's a lot of good options here. Folks, that's really all the time we have for this credit banking mastermind. I really love all the questions that came in. I love the participation. I want to thank you. Huge shout outs to Raul and Rosa and Mark for all of your contributions. You guys are awesome. I really enjoyed this mastermind, and I hope you got something out of this, because there's a lot of folks watching who are in a negative cash flow situation right now. And they might be thinking to themselves, well, I don't have a mutual fund with that amount. I don't have an E-Trade account. I don't have this 401k. Well, great. Well, then let's go back to what Mark suggested and start a business and build business credit. If you don't have any assets, well, it's time to create them, and you can do that. And so, folks, I want to encourage you and empower you to go out there and get it done, right? So, sorry, Raul said I had to check mark that box. He's very fastidious. All right, so folks, thank you so much for being a part of Mastermind 24, where we really look at credit banking as a debt reduction strategy and bank on our credit through our credit cards and accelerate how we pay down our debt by decreasing the principal loan amount, which decreases the payments, it decreases the total interest paid, and pays down our debt in 1/3 the time. On behalf of myself, Joseph Smith, this is Mr. Ray Fleming, and we want to encourage you, if you want to participate in any of the things that you see here and have us go over your numbers, simply just make your way to Wise Guys and Ties. If I could possibly share the correct screen, you might actually see what it is I'm trying to do. All right, so so what you can see here on your screen is where you would go to Wise Guys and Ties, right? wiseguysandties.com/credit-banking. We'll blow that up on your screen. And participate in these Tuesday night webinars. They start at 8 p.m. You can go to the events tab and register for events, and then fill out this form. And if you want to have us go over your numbers and have us mastermind over your numbers, fill out the form here, and we can do several things. We can have a 30-minute free consultation one-on-one with you, but we can also be a part of this weekly mastermind as well, where we all can learn together. So, folks, I want to encourage you to not panic, to not give up, to not worry, have fear and doubt grip you. No. We're in this together, right? If you have debt, we all have debt. If you have cash flow problems, we all have those. This is where we come together, on Tuesday nights, and we really learn how we can implement financial strategies such as credit banking, business credit, how we can utilize, we need to talk about insurance.
Mm-hmm.
There's infinity banking.
Absolutely.
There's so many other strategies that we can implement. And this is the type of things that we want to encourage and help you to do. Last thing I want to tell you before you cut out on us, you got to come back here Thursday night, Ray. Why do they got to come back Thursday night?
Well, they got to come back Thursday night so you guys can learn that next step in building and growing your wealth through real estate investing. And so I'm really excited for this Thursday. We're going to be diving in deep, so don't miss it. Make sure you're registered at the Wise Guys and Ties /events for the real estate investing mastermind that's taking place 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday.
Now, are you talking about in these masterminds where people have got to show up with hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to invest in real estate?
If you have that, that's fantastic. We'll show you how to put that to work. But most of the folks are just looking for a way to get into it. And so understanding how to help the folks that do have money grow their money, that's your opportunity, where you bring to the table your knowledge and your skill set and your hard work, and then you don't need the money. You can always go find the money.
So are you somebody that has invested in like over $500,000 worth of real estate?
Well, all the real estate that we have done, and we get a share and get 50% of that profit, and it never required any of my own money.
Bam.
That's what's so great.
So you love what you teach so much that you practice what you preach.
Yes, I mean, that's really the way it worked. Is actually we were out there implementing it, and then it changed our lives so much. We figured out we got to help other folks understand that.
Because, folks, we want to help. And this Tuesday nights, we talk about how to eliminate debt, how to get control over finances. But, folks, that's just part of the equation. The other part is learning how to increase your income. And if you're interested to hear ideas and tips and strategies on how to do that through real estate investing with the property guy, Mr. Ray Fleming, you got to come back on Thursday nights. On behalf of myself, Joseph Smith, this is Ray Fleming. Our contact information is on the screen. Wise Guys and Ties exists to empower you with the tools and resources that you need to achieve your dreams, right? We want to thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Thank you so much. Good night.
And God bless.